I showed this tool to a Fortune 500 team last year, and their first question was, wait, this is free? They were paying for 3 different tools doing half of this. So if you're starting from zero, this is the only guide you need. So let's go. What makes NotebookLM so different is that unlike ChatGPT or Perplexity, it only works with what you give it. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to NotebookLM.com and I'm going to just create an account with my Google account. I already have a Google account, so I'm already logged in here. What I'm going to start by doing is just create new. When you do this, you'll see what you typically see within a LLM or using an AI, which is your chat feature. But what's a little bit different here is you have a couple different options. First, you can drop your own files through upload files. You can also add specific links to websites. So if you want it to only refer to one particular website or multiple, you can add those here. And then you can also have it connect to your Google Drive. Again, this is why I love Google products, is everything integrates with one another, or you can just even have it copy text and paste it right in here. One of the tools I love within NotebookLM is deep research. It searches the web, it will pull over 40 to 50 verified sources, and then you get to decide which ones you want to include. What I'm gonna do for this though is actually I wanted to find research for me. So I don't have the sources that I know of yet, but once it finds them, then I'm gonna go through, verify, and make sure they're correct. And I'm gonna ask it to do market research for me on creating an open source research platform. What is the current state of open source science, pros, cons, and opportunities? So now that I've added my prompt, again, I have the web that I'm gonna use. And then instead of fast research, what I'm gonna ask it to do is do deep research. So this is for more in-depth reports. It's also gonna take longer to search. So be sure that you have time to do this, but most importantly, be sure to check the deep research selection. Perfect. So now you can see that it is finished. It has found over 60 sources, but what's fantastic here is I can go through each one of these sources and select whether or not I want it included. In addition, I can also click on the source and learn more about it. Can even go to the web page, which is really helpful because this will give me a really good idea of where it's pulling in that information. One of the things I worry a lot about in using LLMs for work is that it's going to make things up, and then I'll have no way to verify it, or if I get asked questions about it. Whereas with the deep research function, I can easily see the sources that it comes back from, and it references them automatically for me. So again, what I'm going to do is just go through this and select the sources that I want it to include. I can also then have it exclude some sources, and I'm ready to go. Where the deep research falls short is if you're looking to just do a quick LLM style like Google search or web search, this is not the place for it. If you're looking for something more fast, then I would stick with the traditional ChatGPT or Google Gemini for those types of queries. By the way, I send a free weekly newsletter breaking down AI tools like this with real examples from my work. No jargon, just things you can actually use the same day. The link is in the description. So I recently had a member of my team create and share 3 different documents with me, and while I do want to read them, they're quite lengthy and I can't really find the time to read them. So what I'm going to do with NotebookLM is I'm going to have it create a podcast for me based on these documents. So all you have to do here is go to upload files. Again, I'm going to select my 3 documents here, and here you can see the 3 resources that it pulled in. Right now, what it's doing is it's creating this first initial preview just based off of the 3 resources that I pulled in. NotebookLM really shines is, again, not just the resources that you have, but my favorite part, the studio. Here in the studio, you can see a couple different options. We can do an audio overview, video overviews, flashcards, and quizzes. So using this as a tool if you're studying, or creating mind maps, infographics, and even slide deck. Again, what I'm gonna do for this instance is to create my own podcast based off of the reports that my teammate sent me. So I'm just gonna go to the pencil button here, and what I want is a deep dive because I really wanna know what he wrote about, and I'm gonna give it an example of what the host should focus on. So I'll tell it, my colleague provided these docs to me. I really want to understand what he is talking about, the point he is trying to get across, and the opportunity that there is with this product. Okay, I also have a couple different options. I can can create the length of my podcast to be long, default, or short. And so for this, I'm going to do long because again, I really want to understand what he's talking about and why he's talking about it. If you need some extra help with your prompt, you can see down here at the bottom, it gives me some options to add in. One is core components explained. So I'm going to add that in, and then I can go ahead and hit generate. Now, just know that it is generating a whole podcast based off my resources on demand. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but is 100% worth it. If you are tired of staring at your screen all day, like I often am, I love to create podcasts and then go for a walk. So I'm still working on what I need to work on, but then I can get some steps in and get some fresh air. Here, now we can hear that the podcast is done, and let's take a listen.
Okay, let's put a little mental time travel here. It is March 2026.
Right.
And we are living in a world where, artificial intelligence can pass the bar exam.
So as you can see, this is a really powerful tool because it allows you to create your own podcast based on sources. Let's say you're even studying for an exam and you want to listen to the lecture that you had again, but in a new way. You could put that into this tool and it'd be a great resource to hear what your professor's saying, but in a new style, more conversational, that may turn on new cues for you. So that is just one of the features in NotebookLM. I want to go back to the deep research that we did previously and all of those 60 resources that we pulled in and show you what else you can create with this. So first, we already showed the audio overview, but maybe you're not an audio person. Maybe you're more of a visual person. You can then create a video overview. In the video overview, again, what you're going to want to do is click on the video overview and you have a couple options. You can have a video overview that is brief or more of an explainer video. For me, I want this to be an explainer video. It has some styles you can have it choose from. I love watercolor, so I'm going to select watercolor. And then it asks, what should the host of this video focus on? I'm going to create a similar prompt as I did before. And here I'm just going to say, I want you to focus on the open source science research platform. I want to better understand what it is, where are the gaps, and where are the opportunities. So then I'm just going to go ahead and click the button generate. Here our video is complete. So let's check out and see what we got.
All right, let's map out what it takes to build the next great open source research tool. So you're thinking about jumping in? First, you've got to know the lay of the land. $58 billion. That's what the OSINT market is going to be worth. A huge opportunity, but it's a battlefield out there.
What I love about this video is it all comes from sources that I looked at, I reviewed, I verified. Well, YouTube is great. Trust me, I'm on YouTube right now and I appreciate you supporting and watching my channel. Sometimes you don't know where people are getting their information from. And while they may look really good or sound really good, you can't verify where they got that information. The other options I love to create is a mind map. So the mind maps are really beautiful because what it does is it takes that 60 sources and it finds the common theme within those sources. Here you can see my main source, and now it's created a mind map that includes definitions and context, core categories, risk and challenges. But what's great is anytime I click on this, it opens it up to the next layer of the mind map, and it also retrieves the data for me on the left-hand side. So you can see that as I did the definitions and context, and I'm looking at the actionable intelligence, it's now pulling out from those sources just those definitions and then the actionable intelligence, which is truly incredible. It's a great way to filter down your resources that you may not have been able to do before, particularly 60 different websites. I would have a really hard time filtering them down or adding them into a mind map. All right, and then last but not least is the report. So the report, you can see I have one here and it's just like the initial chat report. What this does is from my 60 sources, it's given me a highlight of what's going on. And so I can continue to ask questions here just as I would with any chat tool, talking about like what are the primary differences between active and passive open source research techniques. And this allows me essentially to query my research analyst. So thinking again of this as a research analyst who's working for me, I can talk to it just as I would a regular human being. But what the reports will do is, unlike the chat where we can go back and forth, the report will create a final static definition for everything. So if you go ahead and click generate the report based on your sources, you'll have a couple of different options. You can again create your own, which is being really specific about the style and how you want it done. Let's say you are creating a white paper for a website and you want to make sure that it's only 3 pages long and you have specifics on how it needs to be styled, and so it can be shared on the the website. You can also create like briefing docs, study guides, blog posts, then provide some suggested formats. So saying it's a technical paper or an educational primer. What again is so great about this is unlike Perplexity or ChatGPT or Gemini or any of those tools, this is allowing you to create your report in a really particular voice and a really particular style. So I'm going to create this as a briefing guide and I'll show you what we got. So here's a comprehensive briefing on the open source intelligence, all of the research that we just did. As you can see, this is a very lengthy doc, but it starts by providing a really good summary of all of our sources. All right, finally, I saved the best for last, and that is the infographics. So I love infographics because 1, educational, 2, they are super fun, and 3, they are easy to share. What the infographic does is it takes all your resources and it consolidates it into one, and then not only does it create it, but it provides it in a format and style that you can easily share on social media. So here you have the pencil again. I'm gonna select the square so that I can easily share it on social media, and then the style that I want it to be in is going to be this. Let's put it into this brick style, kind of a Lego style. What I want this to be is very concise, and I'm going to ask it to describe the opportunity within open source research for science. All right, so this is finished. Let's take a look and see how this looks. Oh, how fun. So this again is in like Legos, or as they say, blocks, probably because there's, proprietary information with Legos, so they can't say it looks like Lego style. But what I like about this is it has 4 key insights here. Intelligence is no longer a state monopoly. Master the 3 C's of due diligence. This is really just a fun infographic that I would be happy to share on my social media. You've now got the full picture, set up, every feature, and a quick workflow to get started. So open it up, upload one thing, and see what NotebookLM does. There's more of this every week in my newsletter, and the link is in the description. So if you like this video and you also enjoy watching the insane research workflow I just shared on this channel, be sure to check out the NotebookLM plus Perplexity workflow. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.